Hello viewers, Wagadar taking you through the story for A-Level Subsidiary Mathematics, and this video I'm going to go through the topic of index numbers, or what we call price indices or price relatives. So this video is suitable for students in both Senior 5 and Senior 6 offering Subsidiary Mathematics. So before we go to the topic, let's first look at the course outline and our progress so far on this platform. Now, Subsidiary Mathematics is divided into three parts. The first part is pure mathematics, where 4 questions come in section A and 2 in section B, and these are the topics. Then the second part is mechanics, where 1 comes in section A, 1 in section B, and these are the topics. The third part is statistics and probability, where 3 come in section A and 3 in section B, and these are the topics. So what is ticked is available on this platform, and what is half ticked means it is available but the video will be remade, and what is not yet ticked means that the video will be uploaded soon. So if you want to watch these videos which are already ticked, at the end of this video there will be an end screen which will appear like this. So what you do, just double click on the folder you want. So if you want videos on statistics, double click on this, it will take you to the videos in statistics. If you want a video on probability, double click on this to take you to the videos of probability. If you want for pure mathematics, double click on this, it will take you to the videos for pure mathematics. So now shall start our topic. So index numbers is the same as price indices, and it's also the same as price relatives. Previously these two used to be different, but now they are the same. So an index number is a single figure summarizing a comparison between two sets of figures. Note this word single figure. Some students confuse it and they call it a percentage, which is not okay. It's used to compare quantities like the price of commodity in the past year, which we call the base year, and the price of the same commodity in the current year. So now we have seen two terms. One is base year and the other one is current year. So what are they? So a base year, denoted by a symbol capital B, this is the year against which all other years are compared, and the base year is taken to be equal to 100. Now here there is no percentage. Most students confuse and they put a percentage, which is not okay. We shall see where to put a percentage, and this is because in many ordinary day-to-day comparisons, 100 is used as the base. For example, percentages they go up to 100. That was base year. Then what about the current year? Current year, this is the year or period for which the index is to be calculated. So they tell you, using this as the base year, calculate the price index for this year. So always they will specify for you which is the base year and which is the current year in the question, as we shall see in the worked examples. Now we shall start with what we call single item index numbers. So price indices are divided into a number of parts, and we shall look at all of them. So we shall start with what we call single item index numbers. So these are sometimes called price relatives. Therefore, if PC, remember we said C denotes current year, therefore PC will denote the price of a certain quantity in the current year. We also saw that capital B denotes base year, therefore PB will denote the price of the same quantity in the base year. Like I told you previously, these two terms were different, but now they are the same. So whether the question says price index or price relative or index number, you will still have the same formula, either this or this. So previously, the one without 100 was for price relative, and the one with 100 was for price index. But now any of the two is okay. You can either use this when they ask for price relative or price index, or you can use this when they ask for price relative or price index. So any of the two, any option is okay. So with that, we shall go through these questions. Question 1 says, in January 2006, the price of a packet of biscuits was shillings 3,000. And in 2007, the price had increased to shillings 5,400. Using 2016 as the base year, determine the price relative of a packet of biscuits in 2017. I think realize that, like I told you, the question will always specify which is the base year. So in this case, they have told you using 2016 as the base year, meaning that this 2016 is our base year and this will be the current year, the one you want to calculate. So you shall come and interpret the question. First of all, PB is the price of the base year, which is 2016, and the price was 3,000, which is here. Then that is PB. Then PC is the price in the current year, which was 5,400. Therefore, like I told you, it's up to you to choose whether to multiply by 100 or you don't. So here we have chosen to multiply by 100. So I multiply by the 100. Price in the current year is the price in 2007, and price in the base year is the price in 2006, multiplied by 100. So when I divide the two and multiply by 100, I'll come up with 180. So it is okay if you choose not to multiply by 100. So in that case here, you will come up with 1.8, and both answers will be the same, will be correct. Then question 2 says, the average prices of bananas, milk and meat were as follows in 2014 and 2015. So here they have tabulated for you the item, the prices in 2014 and the prices in 2015 for the same commodities. Then they said calculate the price relatives for these commodities for 2015, taking 2014 as the base year. So even here they have specified for you what will be the base year. So you have tabulate, you shall put here the items given, then you can calculate the price relative. So price in 2015 over price in 2014 multiplied by 100 gives you this, which will be the price relative for bananas. Then price in 2015 over price in 2014 multiplied by 100 gives you this, which will be the price relative for milk. Then price in 2015 over price in 2014 multiplied by 100 gives you this, which will be the price relative for meat. So in price indices, we have, okay, in mechanics, in applied mathematics, we have been emphasizing that you use 4 decimal places, but when it comes to price indices, we have to use 2 decimal places. That is if you multiply by 100, but if you don't, then you have to get to 4 decimal places. So if you didn't multiply by 100, the answer would have been 1.6667, which are 4 decimal places. But now that we have multiplied by 100, our answers will be to 2 decimal places. So that was question 2. Now shall go to question 3. Question 3 says, the price relative for a commodity in 2001 using 2000 as the base year was 105. The price relative of the same commodity in 2002 using 2001 as the base year was 95. Given that the cost of the commodity in 2000 was £120, find its cost in 2002. Now here it needs some English, but I shall do it. So here they said, first of all, they gave you the price for 2000 and it was £120. This is this P2000. Then they told you something about 2001, they say that the price relative in 2001 using 2000 as the base, that is why we are using here P 2001 over P 2000 multiplied by 100 gives you this. But the good thing, I know the price of 2000, so what I'm going to do, I will substitute and make this the subject. So when I make it the subject, I'll come up with 126 pounds as the price in 2001. But that is not all, because they want the costs in 2002. So shall go to the next statement. Here they said the price relative of the same commodity in 2002 using 2001. You must know that. That is why we are using here price in 2002 over price in 2001 multiplied by 100 gives you 95, which was given here. Now the good thing, I already have the price in 2001, so I can substitute and make the price in 2002 the subject. And when I do that, I'll come up with 119.7 pounds, and that's what they wanted. That was question 3. Now we shall go to question 4. It says there are 4 grades of workers in a certain factory. The table below shows the average weekly wage in pounds of a worker in each grade in 2008 and 2018. The final column shows the price relative of these wages in 2018, taking 2008 as the base year. So these are the wages in 2008, wages in 2018, and price relatives of the corresponding grades. Then they said find X, Y, and Z. So here, this is the current year and this is the base year, meaning to get this column of price relative, they said this price divided by this price multiplied by 100. So if you have a calculator and you try to press 192, let me see, 192 divided by 120, then you get 1.6. 1.6 times 100 gives you this 160, which is here. That means that if I want to get X, I will say 285 divided by 150 multiplied by 100. That will be the value of X. So let's first do that. So for grade 2, X will be equal to 2018, price in 2018 over price in 2008 multiplied by 100, which gives you 190, and that will be the value of X. What about the value of Y? So for grade, when you go to this grade 3, it means that when I say this, divide by this, and everything multiplied by 100, I have to get this value. So let's start from there. So this divided by this multiplied by 100, I have to get this 200, so I'll come and substitute 350 over Y multiplied by 100, I must get 200. Now here I have one unknown, so what I'm left with is to make Y the subject. So when I cross multiply, I come up with that and divide by 200 to come up with the value of Y as 175. That was Y. Now we have to get Z. So for Z, it means that when I say this divide by this, everything multiplied by 100, I have to get this. So let's do that. So 250 will be equal to price in 2018 over price in the base year multiplied by 100 to give you, substitute this for that, this for this. Then look for making Z the subject by cross multiplying and then dividing by 100 on both sides to give you this as the value of Z. So that is how they deal with single item index numbers. Now we shall go to multi-item simple index numbers. Know this word simple, because sometimes they can be weighted. So these are also called unweighted. So when it is simple, it means it's unweighted, and the other part of simple will be the other side of not. If it's not simple, then it is weighted. This is what it means. So simple, unweighted, and when it is not simple, it will be weighted. We shall see what that means still in this video. So these are also called unweighted multi-item index numbers, and they are of two types. The first is called simple aggregate price index, and the other one is called simple average price index. But sometimes the examiners can be funny and they don't specify whether it is aggregate or average. Now when they don't specify, you have to take it as average. So when they just say simple price index, they have not specified whether it is average or aggregate. Therefore in that case we take it as average. Now what are the formulas for these price indices? So if PC is the denotes prices in the current year, and PB denotes prices in the base year, it implies that the formula for simple aggregate price index will be the summation of all the prices in the current year over the summation of all the prices in the base year, everything multiplied by 100. But you must be keen that we are not putting a percentage sign here. So that is simple aggregate. What about simple average? Simple average, it is summation of the ratio of the price in the current year to the price in the base year, to the corresponding price in the base year. So for each item you first get this ratio, price in the current year over price in the base year. Then after that you have to sum all of them. After summing all of them, you have to divide by n. So what is n? N is the number of items into consideration. Then after that you'll come here and multiply everything by 100. But you must be keen to realize that we are not putting a percentage sign. We shall see shortly where to put a percentage sign. So with those formulae, let's look at the questions. So question 1 says the table below shows the price in shillings of flour and sugar in 2003 and 2007. This is the items priced in 2003, prices in 2007. Then taking 2003 as the base year, calculate Roman 1 the simple aggregate index number and comment on your result. Then Roman 2 the simple average index number and comment on your result. So they can, like I told you, they can either use this word index number or they use price index or price relative. So in this case, our current year is 2007 and the base year is 2003. So what we are going to do, we are going to sum up all these prices in the current year, this and this price in the current year, and divide by the sum of all the price, this is the current year, and sum up with and divide by the sum of all the prices in the base year. So you come and say that the numerator will be the prices in the current year, and the denominator will be the prices in the base year multiplied by 100. Now in this case, if you ignore the 100, then it will be wrong. So to ignore 100 works only when they say price relative of a certain item, or let me say it works for single item index number. But when it comes to multi-item, then it is a must to put 100. Okay, now when I add this numerator, the price in the numerator, I'll come up with this. Prices in the denominator, I'll come up with this. Then when I simplify the whole of this using a calculator, I'll come up with 150, and that would be our simple aggregate index number, or simple aggregate price index. But they also told us to comment. Now to comment, that is where the percentage sign comes in. Like I told you, the base year is taken to be 100, as we saw when we are starting. Now to comment, you have to get the difference. So 150 minus 100 gives you 50. Therefore, that is why you see here 50%. Therefore, you come and conclude that there is an increase of 50% in the prices between 2003 and 2007, because the one in the base year is 100, and now for this current year we have got 150. Therefore, the difference will be 50, and it will be an increase. If it was a decrease, it means that this would be smaller. For example, if this was 50, you would say 50 minus 100, which gives you negative 50. That means there is a decrease. Then they also ask for simple average index number. Like I told you, for simple average index number, you have to first get the ratio for all the items and you sum them up. After that, you divide by the number of items put into consideration, and after that you shall multiply by 100. Therefore, you shall come and say, for this item, if you look at this, it means we shall say for sugar it will be this over this, for flour it will be this over this. Then we sum them up. So for sugar it's that, for flour is this. Then you have to add them. Now these two as the number of items put into consideration. The first item was sugar and the second one was flour. That means that there are only two items. That is why we put 2 here. Then you have to remember to multiply by 100. So this gives you this when you use the calculator, and this gives you this when you use the calculator. This one remains. Then when you simplify the whole of this, we shall come up with 150 as our price, as our simple average index number. They also told us to comment. So the comment will be, there is an increase of 50% in the prices between that of the base year and that of the current year. As simple as so. Basically, that is how they comment. So that was question 1. Now we shall go to question 2. Question 2 says the cost of making a cake is calculated from the cost of baking flour. So this was a spelling error. So baking flour, sugar, milk and eggs. The following table gives the cost of these items in 2010 and 2011. So these are the items and these are the costs in 2010, costs in 2011, and they are in shillings. Now using 2010 as the base year, so always the question will specify the base year. Calculate the simple average index, aggregate index number, and comment on your result. Simple average index number and comment on your result. So the procedure will still be the same as it was in question 1. Therefore, it is advisable that you pause the video and first work it out, then you can continue with the video. So the first thing to do is to quote the formula. In this case, the current year is 2011 and the base year is 2010. So we are going to sum up all the prices in 2011 and all the prices in 2010, divide by all the prices in 2010, then you multiply by 100. So these brackets are very, very vital. That when I add the numerator simplified gives you this, denominator simplified gives you this. Then the whole of that, when I work it out, it gives you 143.84 as our simple aggregate index number. So here we don't put any percentage. Then on the comment, when I get the difference between this and 100 is 43.84. Therefore, you shall come and comment that there is an increase of 43.84% in the prices between 2010 and 2011. 2010 is the base year, 2011 is the current year. That was simple aggregate. What about simple average? So simple average, still we have to code the formula, then we can substitute. For each item, get the ratio. And now there are 4 items put into consideration. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why you see 4 in the denominator. Then simplify. This gives this is that, this is this, and this is that. Simplify further gives this, and then use a calculator to come up with that as the simple average index number. But they also told you to comment, so the difference between this and 100 is 48.75. Therefore, you shall come and comment that there is an increase of 48.75 in the prices between 2010, which is the base year, and 2011, which is the current year. Okay, now we have been dealing with unweighted index multi-item index numbers. Now we shall go to what we call weighted index numbers. Now the weights referred to when computing index numbers are the estimates of the proportional importance of each group or commodity. So the weight denotes importance. It does not denote how heavy a quantity is. It denotes how important or how vital or how essential a given quantity is. So the weights thus help one to take into account the relative importance of the commodities. So for example, if you have a list of items to buy and you want to know the priority, then it means that you look at the weights for you to identify which one is priority. So there are 2 types of weighted multi-item index numbers, namely weighted aggregate and weighted average. So like it was under simple or unweighted index numbers, even here when they don't specify whether the price index is aggregate or average, you have to take it to be average. For example, if they just say weighted price index, it implies that they want the weighted average price index. So now if PC denotes the prices in the current year and PB denotes the prices in the base year, it implies the weighted aggregate price index given by the summation of the prices in the current year multiplied by their corresponding weights divided by the summation of the prices in the base year multiplied by their corresponding weights, and after that you multiply by 100. Then for weighted average price index, we have to sum up the ratio of the prices in the current year to those in the base year multiplied by the weight, their corresponding weights, over the summation of all the weights. So to imply in the question, they will have to give you the weights and the prices in the current year and also the prices in the base year. So with that, let's go through these questions. Question 1 says the prices of 3 items A, B, C in the years 2000 and 2004 with their weights were as follows. So previously we have been given item and prices, but now they add on what we call the weights. So taking 2000 as the base year, calculate Roman 1 weighted aggregate price index and comment on your result. Roman 2 weighted average price index and comment on your result. So still just like it was for simple aggregate, even here for weighted aggregate you have to quote the formula first. After that we shall substitute. So for each price it has its own weight. For example, If you look at this, 60,000, it has a weight of 40, 52,000 it has a weight of 20, 20,000 has a weight of 10. That is the numerator. For the denominator, we use the base prices, base year prices. So 55,000 has a weight of 40, 48,000 has a weight of 20, and 16,000 has a weight of 10. Therefore, we shall go here and then we apply price, weight, price, weight, price, weight for the numerator. Denominator also price, weight, price, weight, price, weight. And after multiplying, we have to keep on summing them up. The next is to simplify. This is this, this is this, this is that. Then also this one gives this gives this, and this gives that. The next is to simplify further to come up with that, and then use a calculator to come up with this. And that will be the weighted aggregate price index. But they told you to comment, so commenting the difference between this and 100 is just 9.64. Therefore, we shall say there is an increase of 9.64% in the prices between 2000, which is the base year, and 2004, which is the current year. Now, what about weighted average price index? So still we have to quote the formula for weighted average price index. And this is the formula: price in the current year over price in the base year multiplied by the weight over summation of all the weights. So this was the current price, base price, weight. Current price, base price, weight. Current price, base price, weight. Then these are the total, this is the total of all the weights. Simplify, you'll come up with that. Simplify further, and then use a calculator to come up with this as the required answer. But they also told you to comment, so the difference is 11.15, therefore the comment will be there is an increase of 11.15% in the prices between 2000 and 2004. That was question 1. What about question 2? So question 2, the table below shows the expenditure in Ugandan shillings of a student during the first and second terms. So that the items, first term, second term, and the weights. Using first term expenditure as the base, calculate the weighted price index and hence comment on your result. So it's the same way, we are going to do it the same way as we have done question 1. So what I advise you is to first pause the video a bit and try it out, then you can continue watching to check the solution. So still the first thing to do is to quote the formula. In this case, first term prices are the base and second term prices are the current. Then we can substitute current price, base price, weight, current price, base price, weight, current price, base price, weight over the total of all the weights. You have to remember to multiply by 100, then simplify to give you this, simplify further, and then use a calculator to come up with this which they wanted. But they also wanted a comment, so the difference is 13.63, therefore the comment would be there is an increase of 13.63% in the prices between first term and second term. So that was weighted. What about cost of living index number? So this is the weighted average index number which measures the changes in the purchasing power of consumers. So the same formula for weighted average price index is the very formula we shall use for cost of living index number. The difference are the items. So here the items are the ones a consumer can purchase, a consumer takes. So a rise in the cost of living index number shows a fall in the standard of living. Similarly, a fall in the cost of living index number shows a rise in the standard of living. So PC, if PC is the prices in the current year, PB are the prices in the base year, then the cost of living is given by this formula. I think realize that it is the very formula which we used for weighted average index number. So it's just this word which changes, and the items also change. The type of items will also change. So with that, we shall go through these questions. Question 1. The table below shows the cost of consumer commodities for a family together with the weights consumed per week. Like I told you, the difference between weighted average and cost of living is that these commodities here are consumer commodities. So, like for example, you can see food, housing, transport. Then the prices in 2000, prices in 2002, and the weights. Then they say, taking 2000 as the base year, construct the cost of living for this family and comment on your result. So the very way we answered weighted average is the very way we shall answer cost of living. We shall quote the formula, then substitute current price, base price, weight, current price, base price, weight, current price, base price, weight, and here the total of all the weights. Then simplify to give you that, simplify further to give you that, and then use the calculator to come up with this. Then we also have to comment the difference is 12.55. Therefore, the comment will be that there is a percentage increase of 12.55% in the prices between 2000 and 2002. That was question 1. What about question 2? Question 2 says, calculate to the nearest integer the cost of living index from the table below. So these are the item, price relative, and weight. Comment on your result. Now this price relative is the ratio, but I think realize that it is also in hundreds, meaning that it is the ratio multiplied by 100. So let's see how it is worked out. So previously, this 100 was outside here. But now when you look at the question, it implies that this ratio was multiplied by 100 for you to get values which are in hundreds. Because this one will be price relative. Like I told you, price relative can either be this alone or the whole of this. So now you shall just get this, the whole of this is this, then multiply by the corresponding weight. Then again, price relative, weight, price relative, weight, price relative, weight, like that. The denominator will add up all the weights. Now when you simplify, we come up with that, simplify further, come up with that, and then use the calculator to give you this. The difference between the two, between this and 100 is 14.04. Therefore, the comment is that there is a percentage increase of 14.04 in the cost of living index of the given items. So now we shall go to what we call quantity index numbers. Now in some cases we find different weights for the base year and different weights for the current year. Now underweighted index numbers, the same weights were working for both the base year and the current year. But the question is, what if the weights are different? That is where these quantity index numbers come in. So as to which of the two weights should be used, the answer is that both of them can be used. Since in practice it is difficult to get the actual weights, we can use quantities instead of weights. That is why we call it quantity index number. So in this case, we no longer deal with weights, we deal with quantities. And this quantity index number has three parts. One is called value index, another one is called past-che price index, and another one is called last-pre price index. So we are going to first look at the formula for all the three, then we can go through the questions. So one is the value index. This is the type of index which measures the changes in both the prices and quantities involved. So the base year prices, current year prices, base year quantities, and current year prices and quantities are all involved in this formula. As you can see here, now here PC denotes price in the current year, Q.C denotes quantity in the current year, PB denotes price in the base year, and QB denotes quantity in the base year. And all will be given in the question. That is value index. What about purchase price index? So this type of index is referred to as the current weighted index. In other words, like I told you, the weights can be for the base year and current year may be different. So here we only take the ones for the current year. But still, like I told you, it is difficult to get weights, so we shall use quantities. So it's like we said here, it uses quantities for the current year as the standard weights. And purchase also has two parts. It has aggregate part and also the average part. So the aggregate part is given by the summation of PC times Q.C divided by summation of PB times Q.C, everything multiplied by 100. It is a little different from a value index in that for value index here there was QB. What about average price index? So for as long as you see average, it implies that you are going to deal with a ratio somewhere. So it is PC over PB multiplied by PC Q.C. Everything divided by the summation of PC Q.C, and after that we multiply by 100. The formulas are a little disturbing, but as you do more worked examples, you'll get familiar with them. Then the Lasprey price index. This type of index is referred to as the base weighted price index. So it uses base year quantities. So Pasteur used current year quantities, Lasprey will use base year quantities, and remember, value index used both base year and current year quantities. So those are the three types of quantity index numbers. So with appropriate cancellation, formula for Lasprey average. Remember, now average, like I told you, instead of using Q.C, we shall be using Q.B. So with appropriate cancellation, you realize that this formula for Lasprey average price index and this formula for Lasprey aggregate price index, they will be the same. How is it possible? You realize that this PB and this PB can cancel and remain with PC times QB in the numerator, which is also the same as this numerator for Lasprey aggregate. Then the denominator is the same as the one for Lasprey aggregate. That is why we say that they are the same. So what does that imply? It implies that whether the question asks for Lasprey aggregate or Lasprey average, we are going to use the same formula to get the answer. Therefore, most questions in this form, they will not specify whether it is aggregate or average. They will just say Lasprey price index. And in that case, you have to remember the formula that it uses, base year quantities. Now with those formulae, we shall go through these questions. So question 1 says the table below shows the consumer commodities ABC bought by a certain company in Mbale. So commodity, prices, and quantities. Using 2013 as the base year, like I told you, always the base year will be given. Calculate Roman 1, the value index, Roman 2, Pasteur aggregate price index, Roman 3, Pasteur average price index, and Roman 4, Lasprey price index. So let's start with Roman 1. So for Roman 1, remember we said value index deals with both base year and current year prices, and also base year and current year quantities. So we shall come here and first of all quote the formula for value index. Then we are going to substitute. That means that when you go back here, you're going to apply, this is current year, so this times this, this times this, and this times this will give you numerator. Then for the denominator, I will deal with bases. This times this, this times this, and this times this gives you the denominator. So that is what you saw here. Now next is to use a calculator, simplify further, and then come up with the final answer, which is that. So here they didn't tell you to comment. So now we shall go to Roman 2. Now Roman 2, they wanted the past year aggregate price index. Remember, past year uses current year quantities. Therefore, you'll come and quote the formula. Then from there, you're going to substitute. So substituting, you must realize that it uses only current year quantities. Therefore, if you go back here, for the numerator, it will be PC to C. So this times this times this, and this times this. For the denominator, it will be PB to C. So it will be this times this times this, and this times that. So the base year quantities are ignored in past year. Then from there we shall use a calculator to simplify. Simplify further and then come up with the final answer to 2 decimal places. So that was Roman 2. What about Roman 3? Roman 3, they ask for past year average price index. So first of all is to quote the formula. Now when you look at this formula, we have 2 pieces of this PC and also this PC. So when I multiply the two, I'll come up with PC squared multiplied by 2C over PB to get the numerator. Then for the denominator, it will be PC to C. So that means that when I substitute, I'll come up with that. So current price squared multiplied by the quantity in the current year, then over the base price. Current price squared, current year quantity, and base price. Current price squared, current quantity, and base price, like that. For the denominator, we use current price, base price, current price, base price, current price, base price. Then we shall simplify using the calculator, simplify further, and then come up with the answer they want. That was Roman 3. What about Roman 4? For Roman 4, they wanted the last price index. So for last we use base quantities. Therefore, we shall come here and quote the formula. Then we shall substitute. So here it means that when you come here, for the numerator, we are going to use PC to B. So this times this, this times this, this times this. That is the numerator. Denominator, we shall use PB to B. So this times this times this, and this times that. So in other words, the current year quantities are ignored in last pre. Therefore, we shall come here and simplify further, and then get the final answer. And that's what they wanted. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and bear in mind the next video will be on moving averages. So if you're not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button below this video so that I can receive updates when the next video on moving averages has been uploaded. And also, if you know of any student who's not yet on this platform, please share the link of this video with them via social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp so that I can all benefit as a family.